Could you have delivered it to your client knowing that it was missing a bathroom?
If that was my only deliverable to the client, I would make sure they went back and captured it. Because you can't get there's no images of that bathroom now in the photos. So, yeah.
So it would have been interesting just to know whether VHT Studios would have sent the photographer back at no additional expense to capture the space that they missed. I don't know, maybe you'll still make the ask, and if they come back and say yes, you'll say, okay, never mind, but you just like curious whether they'd actually, still do that or not.
Yeah. Not to skewer them. I'm going to put all my confidence that if I asked them to come back and capture that space, they would. He was a very nice guy, so I don't think that he would say, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So how about outdoors? I personally, I was surprised to see 8 360 views outside. Frankly, I hadn't expected to see any, but then I guess if you say, well, but they're providing photos, and the only way to do an outdoor photo is to actually go shoot outside. I guess it's like 2 questions. Were you surprised that the photographer was not using a DSLR or a mirrorless camera with a real estate kind of lens on the camera and was having all the shots come from the Matterport tour?
For the price, I was not surprised. I fully expected that they were going to extract images from the camera. Yeah, so I was surprised that he did the 360s. I kind of was hoping he would have done, because it's the Pro 3, he would have just scanned outside. But again, for the price, it's quicker just to shoot a couple 360s and place them on the map. And so, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by the number of outdoor scans that I did get. They weren't, in the backyard, there wasn't enough to cover the entire backyard. The front yard, there was 2-3 shots, but the backyard, there wasn't enough.
Were you surprised that the Matterport tour had what I would call splatter?
I call it that too. I don't know if that's our made up name, or it's a
splatter.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, oh, this is Matterport's product. They would get their own product to look as nice as possible.
That's a good point. I was surprised to see it. They just failed to mark a mirror and a window,
and a fireplace.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. That's one thing that really, I don't know, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me when I'm looking at Zillow at houses and I see a 3D tour and I'm like, oh man, they missed that, or they didn't do that. So yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, a couple seconds, and I've missed it too. But I check the deliverable before I give it to the client, and if I notice it, I'll re-upload. I'll mark it correctly and re-upload it.
How about the photos? You got 25 pictures. Talk to me about those pictures, and maybe even compare them to Sparks Media Group deliverable of photos.
Yeah, so good time for a shameless plug. I've made a video, and as soon as our call is over, I'm going to hit post on it and make it public. But I've made a video that compares a lot of that. It compares everything that we got from Matterport versus what I've delivered to the client from myself and my photographers.
Yes, and you'll be able to see that video in 2 places, on the Sparks Media Group YouTube channel. And Tom will also post that video to the We Get Around Network forum, wganforum.com, or again, use that link, wgan.info/Sparks Media Group. So